The Honolulu Pickleball J6CR 16mm, a Gen 4 foam core paddle that changes the feel game. This is Honolulu's latest Core Reactor series paddle. It retails for $195, weighs 8 ounces, and has an extremely low swing weight for an elongated paddle. After testing it for a few weeks, what became clear is that this paddle does something different with how the ball comes off the face. It's not non-linear power where the paddle amplifies your output. Instead, you get a sensation similar to the ripple, almost like hitting with a tennis racket, but the ball comes off with more predictability. For a CFC layup, this has more dwell than you'd expect, and that translates into both spin generation and control that feels unusual for this much power. Full disclosure, Honolulu Pickleball sent me this paddle to test with no strings attached, no money changed hands, I'm not obligated to create content for them, and these are my honest impressions. You can use code MPB at checkout for a discount, which will also help support this channel. The J6CR is built around what Honolulu calls their Core Reactor internal architecture. This is a Gen 4 unibody molded paddle using a dual density foam core, specifically EPP foam and EVA foam working together. What matters about the construction is that the core uses shaped separation, with notching outside the perimeter area similar to Honolulu's NF approach. The throat region has an EPP insert designed to act like a pivot point, influencing how the face responds across different contact points. The manufacturing approach changed between early versions and production. Early iterations used incisions cut after molding. The production version moved to fully molded incisions. Cutting into EPP foam can break the bead structure and change the feel. Molding preserves it. That's part of why the production J6CR feels different than earlier prototypes. The face is carbon fiber with a coarse peel-ply texture. It's a CFC layup, which means there's a layer of fiberglass sandwiched between two layers of carbon fiber. The shape is 16.5 inches long by 7.5 inches wide, 16 millimeters thick with a 5.75 inch handle. I'm not going to read through all the technical data. I'll throw it up on the screen now so you can pause if you want the specifics. But here's what matters: how this paddle actually feels. This thing is fast in hand. The swing weight is extremely low for a 16mm elongated paddle, and you feel that immediately. It's the kind of paddle where you can get into position at the net without feeling like you're dragging weight around. That low swing weight is what makes this paddle work. Most elongated builds make you choose between power and speed. This one doesn't. Stability is solid. The switch weight sits above average for the category, but it feels more stable than the number suggests. Off-center hits don't punish you the way they do on some other elongated builds. The sweet spot is generous. Balance-wise, it's neutral, not head-heavy, not head-light. It just sits naturally in your hand. Power testing shows legitimately high numbers across the board. Serves are coming off faster, punch volleys have more pace, and spin is up there with the top paddles in this shape. The firepower score is higher than 91% of elongated paddles I've tested. These aren't marginal differences. This paddle generates real pace. At $195, you're in average foam core territory alongside paddles like the bread and butter Loco and other high-performance Gen 4 builds. Initial impressions over the first couple hours of play, this paddle felt fast. I'm at the net, ball's coming at my hip, and I can get the paddle around without feeling late. The low swing weight is immediately noticeable. For an elongated paddle, it's easy to get into position, and that matters more than you think for a shape that's usually criticized for being sluggish. Power showed up early. I'm at the baseline, the return of serve is on the way, and I can drive it back with real pace. The ball just moves. It's clearly higher than the NF series and nearly the same level as the Loco. When you do swing big, the paddle responds with strong pace that stays predictable. The acceleration feels easier. You're not forcing it. Here's a simple formula with this one though. Add more mass, get more pace, and the J6CR has plenty of room to add weight. Despite the power increase, the soft game stayed manageable. I'm in a rally at the kitchen, ball's coming at me with pace, and I need to reset. The paddle lets me take that pace off easily. Resets in transition felt comfortable, easier than I expected for a paddle delivering this much firepower. That stood out immediately because high-powered paddles often make you work harder in those moments. The J6CR didn't do that. The face feel is slightly different than the NF and FC+. It's more responsive and crisper off contact, but still pockety. You get that sense of the ball settling briefly into the face, then a quicker rebound than you'd feel on the NF. It's more alive, more reactive, without becoming too poppy or uncontrollable. There's also a hint of hollower feedback compared to the NF, not extreme, just a hint, but noticeable. It sits somewhere between dense foam and hollow frame paddles. What's unique is the dwell time. For a CFC layup, this is one of the more dwelly paddles I've tested. It's not at the level of something like the Enhanced Duo or RPM Friction Pro, which is an entirely different construction, but you can perceive the ball sitting on the face a little bit longer. That dwell translates directly into spin generation. You have time to load the ball and create some shape. Spin felt strong, and it's the combination of texture and dwell working together. I'm hitting a third shot drip with heavy topspin, and I can see the ball dip. The coarse peel-applied texture grabs the ball well, and the dwell time gives you the window to load it with rotation. You can lean into a more aggressive trajectory knowing the ball will drop. Pop is comparable to the NF, but it doesn't force constant restraint at the kitchen. There's enough quick contact jump to finish points, but hand battle stayed controllable. That's the key distinction. It has pop, but it's not chaotic or twitchy. Stability impressed me given the low twist weight. The power is there when you commit. The maneuverability lets you be aggressive without being or feeling late. The touch is available when you need it, but this isn't a paddle designed around soft game first play. So after all that testing, what's the one thing you need to know about this paddle? This is an offensive paddle with unusually high maneuverability for its shape. What you get is elite baseline power, strong pop at the net, and a face that feels more responsive and connected than previous Honolulu builds. What makes the J6CR different is how predictably the ball comes off the face. You swing at a certain speed, the ball comes off at a proportional pace. No weird amplification, no surprises. The predictability comes from the dwell. You feel the ball load, you feel it release, and the trajectory matches your intention. It's not like a pure power paddle where contact feels like an explosion you're trying to manage. This paddle gives you control over the output. The feel shift from cut incisions to fully molded features changes the contact sensation. You get a pockety response that's bouncy and reactive, not soft and muted. Some players will love that because it feels more alive. Others who prefer a dampened, plush response might find it less appealing. That's the real dividing line. At $195, the J6CR competes directly with the Brunbar Loco, Ronda's Quanta, Vatic Pro V-Sol, Selkirk Boomstick, Aerial Cyclone, and others in the, I'd say, premium Gen 4 foam core space. Compared to the Loco, the J6CR delivers more maneuverability at stock weight, but less overall firepower, slightly. Compared to the NF series from Honolulu Pickleball, the J6CR gives you more firepower and a livelier face feel while maintaining similar forgiveness and a sweet spot size. The J6CR sits at the top 20% of the power paddle category and plays with good stock maneuverability and a more responsive contact sensation that offers good feedback. I think this paddle is ideal for players who want an elongated build that plays fast in hand but is still stable. You value higher power and pop than the NF or comparable firepower to the Loco, but you still want something that remains a touch more controllable in transition and at the net. You care about predictability in the power response and want something that doesn't feel erratic on bigger swings. You like a responsive, connected face feel versus a softer, more dampened sensation. This paddle is not for players who strongly prefer a very dampened, plush, muted feel profile and don't like a pockety or bouncy response. If you dislike any hint of hollower feedback like the Aerial Cyclone or Selkirk Boomstick, or denser feedback like the Valair Shifts, this might not be your preference. The deciding factor, do you value maneuverability over maximum dampening? If yes, and you want an elongated paddle that plays fast and packs a punch, the J6CR could be your paddle. So that's it. That's the Honolulu Pickleball J6CR review. Here's my take. This paddle nails the balance between offensive firepower and playability better than most elongated paddles I've tested. I recommend it if that profile fits what you're looking for. If you need a very soft, muted feel, stick with something like the Enhanced Duo or upcoming Mark Pickleball 2R3. Would you choose an elongated paddle that prioritizes speed and responsiveness over maximum dampening? Let me know in the comments. Remember, you can grab the J6CR for a discount with code NPB at checkout. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.